Your patent sucks. The benefits of getting process patents in the chemical processing industries. My name is Steve Hansen. I've been a practicing patent attorney for over 25 years. Not only do I write patents, but I tear apart other people's patents in litigation. If you like this content, please like, follow, and share. So, in a number of posts and elsewhere online, I have opined that when you're deciding about whether to get a patent, one key consideration is, can you detect infringement? If you can't detect infringement, you're never going to have the ability to go to court and sue somebody for infringing the patent, because you can't file the patent infringement lawsuit to see if there's evidence of infringement. You have to have evidence. You don't have to have your whole case locked down and have everything and have a trial, but you have to have, at least some kind of prima facie case or probable cause to show that every element of at least one of your patent claims is infringed. And so, of course, that suggests that if you can't detect infringement, don't get a patent. And yes, that's generally true. If you're looking at a single patent in isolation, that principle holds. However, there are different circumstances where getting a process patent for which you could not normally detect infringement by a competitor is useful. So I want to talk about that. And this comes up in the chemical processing industries in particular. So there is a type of business that you'll see, like when I was coming up as an engineer, and I mean, I think they're still around, but there was a company called UOP, right? So UOP sold processes and the equipment to different companies. Like if a refinery wanted to have a vapor recovery unit or something, UOP might sell them that. Or if they wanted to have a cat cracker, they might have sold them, process equipment, and also intellectual property related to that. I had friends that worked at a place called Floor Daniel in California. They did the same thing. So when you're in that kind of business, when you're selling a process and associated equipment to somebody, the situation can be a little different, because first of all, a lot of times, which at least in the best situation you could be in, you're going to have some patents that cover aspects of the equipment or some physical product that can be evaluated for infringement, like a catalyst, or maybe certain kind of separating rings in a separations process, maybe a particular heat exchanger design, or whatever. But when you design processes and sell or license them to people, I say sell, but license is really what I'm talking about. You're going to have some physical stuff, and so you very likely will have some set of patents that are devoted to the physical equipment and the physical details of it. Then, along with that equipment, you'll often have know-how or trade secrets, because you will have optimized how to run the process. You'll develop like the best process conditions, temperatures, pressures, flow rates, with particular types of feedstocks when you're trying to get particular types of products. And so the situation's really different there, because now what's happening is you have a business model where you're going to like a refiner or a chemical producer, and you're saying, look, we have this process. If you want to make, xylene or something, and you can buy this equipment and license the process from us. And if you have that situation, and now you also get process patents associated with it, now you've increased the value of the whole package that you're selling them, because the more patents you add to the package, the more valuable it will be. I mean, if they want to practice the process, they got to pay for it in a sense. And so you're saying, look, we've got this process. If you want to do it, you got to pay for that too. I mean, yes, in a sense, they could say it's not worth paying for it because you could never detect infringement. But I think the reality is that when you have these patents along with the physical product type of patents as a bundle, it just increases the value of the whole thing from a licensing perspective, and that is worth doing. And then also, I mean, I think that in these circumstances, these companies do get access to plants, and they will probably have some information about whether they're practicing the process claims. But the point is that like that basic rule about don't get the patent if you can't ever detect infringement, it should be qualified depending on the business model, because I do think if you're in the position of these process development companies that license processing technologies, that you can really add value and get a much higher royalty rate or much higher value when you're licensing the process as a bundle of patents that cover the process and some physical equipment, and also trade secrets and know-how, which are super important in the chemical processing industry, by the way. I don't want to blow through that like it's not important. It takes a lot of time and effort to develop those ideal process conditions and optimization methods that are used to make a unit run more efficiently at lower cost and with higher yields of the desired product. So anyway, that's one exception to the rule, and it seems particularly important, like I said, with these companies that license process technologies to the chemical processing industry. You also see it in the green tech. Like I was looking at one company had patents I was looking at for carbon capture. So they capture the carbon out of flue gases. And so they had some process patents, and I was like, how are they going to enforce that? But then they also had some equipment patents that went with it. And I could see where if they licensed that as a bundled technology of process and product patents and also some know-how, that yes, those process patents, even though by themselves, even if they by themselves would be hard to enforce, will add value to the whole package and can be worth getting. So that's one consideration to keep in mind when you're going through that calculation. Do I or do I not get a patent for this? Okay? I hope that helps to keep you out of trouble, and I hope to see you here soon.